Alright, it is 9:29 a.m. I'll try to make this fast. April the 26th, 21. All of these with a number 5. I'm going to be watching for a potential morning panic setup, and these with the 1.5 means they're not really perfect because today is technically the third day. This one's on its third day. This one you might even debate and say it's on the second day. So I will be watching those for morning panic setups, but I prefer one that's run for at least 3 days, kind of like these. They're not that nice, but they're definitely better than what it has been before. It's just going to be a watch for morning panics. Right now we're very close to the market open. Alright, it is 9:38 a.m. and I didn't buy anything. I could have bought WTII, but I didn't. I had it. Who knows if I would have gone to execute. I think I could have at 463, which is right here, right about there. Started to show a sign of a reversal on level 2. Wanted to play a small, tiny position just because of the fact that it is only up. You could say today is the third day. You might even say today is the second day. It depends on what you think about this green candle. It just wasn't. First of all, it was always green on the day, so even at its lowest here at 45, it was already green. And on top of that, again, you might say it's only the second or the third day, so ideally this thing is up for at least 3 days. I know it's not an exact science, but I would have liked it just to have had at least one of those two things, either red on the day or that it's at least on its third day. So that's the case with that. I just didn't buy it for that reason. Could have totally have bought it. It's doing very nice. I saved a screenshot of it. I think I'll be more prepared for these morning panic setups on a stock that actually fits more of the things that I'm looking for, because I've seen this part again and again. We did have that max volume here. After that, the volume started to downtrend. I probably would have sold by now. But it's very impressive here at 60 cents is the top from 45. That's a lot of range. That is a lot of range. Maybe I'll consider it in the future to be more aggressive, even if it doesn't fit all the qualifications, if it's that type of market. But didn't trade it for that reason. I don't feel that bad for missing out. Again, it just wasn't perfect, but clearly did some kind of a move, which is good. OZSC, not really anything I want to be interested in. Looks like the kind of stock that might do a big downtrend later today, potentially. LTNC isn't looking that good right now. I'll be watching this. If it drops with some volatility and volume, that might not be so bad. GVSI uptrended, downtrended, and traded, didn't look at it really. And GGII continues the uptrend. That's pretty nice. It broke this level right here. Let's see if it can hold above it. AITX, very nice uptrend from 11 to almost 12. So looks like a lot, but actually not too much in terms of percentage, but still a very nice move. Could have bought WTII. Again, I don't feel bad. I'm very happy to see the pattern worked. I'll keep looking for setups, but right now nothing that I'm too interested in. Alright, it is 10:03 a.m. A lot of these stocks are starting to lose volatility. The volume is fading on a lot of these, and WTII, I was looking at this for a slow number 5, like something, not really a slow number 5, but a stock that breaks the VWAP level and then immediately comes back to it. And it did it exactly here. I was watching this on the downtrend, seeing how it would react with VWAP. I didn't know if it would maybe hold VWAP and bounce from there. Maybe it dropped here below it, and now it's going to hold it and bounce from there. It did the pattern ultimately, but it was a very hard fought battle. It was very quick when it did do it, and when it wasn't quick, it was very, very, very slow. A lot of people were dumping their shares on the bid. There was a lot of people on the ask. It was a very hard fought battle, but it did it from breaking the VWAP level, getting as low as 50 and then bouncing back to 54. So almost a 10% move there. Really not too bad in terms of percent volatility. And it played out, but as you could tell, if it failed again, it's just not doing so well. You know, I would say maybe this is gonna make the VWAP triangle, but I don't know if I'll do it on this stock. It's not really been up that many of days to consider a pattern like that, at least if you ask me. So it did do it right here. You know, it did break below VWAP and bounce back, but it was very choppy here. It wasn't very nicely done. OZSC is not doing anything. LTNC is downtrending, and so is HMBL, but I don't like how gradual the downtrend is, so I never considered it for a, you know, a morning panic bounce play. So GVSI is nothing I want to trade either, even if it goes like red on the day considerably. Probably not, unless it looks very nice. GGII, nothing I want to trade either. I was looking at this one too. Maybe it would drop towards the VWAP level, maybe slightly below it. This one just stayed above it, so it's a no trade here. AITX, this one did it too. You know, I just missed it. This one, I missed it. What time was this? And it was very quick too. 9:47. Yeah, I missed it. And then I started looking at WTII for the same setup. This was what I would have liked, I guess. Nice spike. You know, downtrend here, broke the VWAP level. Showed some kind of, I didn't see how it did it at the moment, but maybe a turnaround in level 2. But this spike was very quick, so it would have been very hard if you were not buying very early in this candle or in the previous candle, if maybe it was showing support on level 2 to have been in this setup. So yeah, no setups right now, but I'll keep looking. A lot of learning. Very nice to see how it worked here with WTII to understand how it could play while it's doing that pattern. Just no trades at the moment. Alright, it's 10:25 a.m. I think this could be an inverse head and shoulders. I did a quick buy and sell. It kind of threw me off. It just didn't. Maybe I'm being too picky, but the pattern just looks like it's gonna work, especially now. But at the moment, it was kind of sketchy. But here, let me go over. I bought at 10:21.58, and I only held for 6 seconds. It was pretty much a break-even trade, although it turned out to be like, you know, a $1.75 loss. So something out of the percentage of that. You know, this is a sub penny stock, so some digit after 68 probably made the difference there, but you know, it was less than 1%. Anyway, so what happened? I bought at 21.58, right at the end of this candle right here, and I got executed at 64. And then this candle right here, this sketched me out so much because it made like a new low off of this candle, and this one already seemed pretty bad. So when it had this drop here below, even further below VWAP, because I thought, okay, maybe like here it touched it, it didn't get below it. Here it got below it. Here's the head of the inverse head and shoulders, and here, okay, slightly below it. But when we got to the new candle and it got even lower, that just sketched the hell out of me. And I immediately got out of the trade for that reason. Had it have not have done that, had it have held this level or maybe above it a little, I would still be in the trade right now. I'd probably be considering selling if it doesn't break 70, because that is a big wall of sellers and it's a round number. Just, you know, it could have worked out though. That would be 10% right now had I have held there, but you know, that was pretty damn sketchy when it just did that. And you know, and now it looks like, alright, well, it worked out, right? Well, sure, but at the time when it was right here and it could have just continued, you know, it could have been really bad, especially because the volume isn't that nice as it was earlier in this, you know, earlier in the market open. So it's doing it now, and it looks like it might even try to crack 70. We'll see. I'll keep this recording just to see if it does it or if it fails, but we see a lot of green, you know, buys. It looks like we did it here. Yeah, 71. Now, how long is it going to do it? Is it going to hold it? I'm glad I got the pattern right. This could have been a profitable pattern. I just got sketched out right here because it broke that level. And then when it looked like it was really looking like it was going to do it, you know, already just kind of messed up, because I'm like, am I chasing the trade? Am I doing it because it actually looks nice? Am I doing it because I just want to get back into trade now it's going to do it, or am I just doing, am I having a wrong mindset? So yeah, this pattern worked out. I'm glad it worked out. The C inverse head and shoulders work on OTC stocks. This is the first green day, big, day up a lot in terms of percentage. Now it's at 72. It might have to fight all of these little levels, 74, 72, and then maybe the day high if it gets that high there. I don't know how high it gets, but it worked out here. Just got sketched for a tiny bit. I don't regret it because it could have broken that level and then it could have continued the downtrend right here in the 59s, and that would have been pretty bad because it's a very volatile stock. Just here to here, it's 10% give or take. So I'll make an update and see what happens to this stock. I'm glad I tried it. Would have been less salty if I was, profitable, or maybe just break even. I've had that happen where I buy and sell a sub penny stock at the same price, at least according to Schwab, but the actual number made a difference. But that wasn't the case here. It's just going to be a continued watch, not because I want to trade, just to learn from it and see what it does. Glad to see that the pattern worked out, even though I was kind of sketched out and I got early. Alright, it's 10:42. I just want to take it very easy from now on, and maybe I'll probably keep looking at the markets, but not too much. I'd say after 11 is when I'll stop looking at the markets as much, but I don't see any setups right now. It would be later in the day where maybe there's a breakout over the, like a new day high or something. So yeah, WTII, nothing I want to trade. Again, I saw this right here. This one played out, but it was very messy the way it played out. It worked, but it just was ugly, but I learned from that. RETC did do that inverse head and shoulders. Again, this thing sketched me out when it dropped here. And you see the volume wasn't very much either, so it was very volatile, but hey, it did it. You could have bought, again, like I bought at 64 and then maybe sell at the 70 level, not expecting it to break out. 10% move right there. Just learning these new setups. I mean, I've done inverse head and shoulders with listed stocks, but it's different on OTCs, just a little. It's a lot less choppy. Had this have been a listed stock, I probably would have continued to hold even if it cracked right there and it looked all sketchy until it didn't. So that's a great lesson learned from that. And again, it's held the VWAP level, give or take. It was a bit sketchy buying it here because it was a bit below it, but it's not perfect. It's not an exact science. But again, when it cracked this level, because it didn't have a high here until later, right? So when it cracked, this new candle was just there like that. That just looked super bad. So it worked out eventually. It didn't break the day high or anything like that, but it still played out as an inverse head and shoulders. LTNC is downtrending, but I'm not gonna buy that. That looks disgusting. GVSI, nothing I want to trade either. This one's looking not so bad. So this one, you could say, and this is one that I will be watching, could be a breakout over this. I'm going to say this 25 level. Yeah, this 25 level. So, we try to break out here. Well, not we, this stock. And it failed, but it put up a higher low here. So this could be the kind of setup where it could do a breakout. I will be watching GGII for that. AITX, I think, is that LT swizzle pattern where it just plays back and forth and one gives out, which was the bid, and we had this drop from 117 to 115, so not really that much range, but I'll keep looking. We do have another one like TGRO, which is up a bunch. This one held the VWAP level, and maybe it might try to break the day high. Who knows? It depends. Volume doesn't look that bad, but right now it's just going to be GGII and TGRO on the other screen. This slow stock right here, KYNC, is looking like it's going to try to break this high right here at 97 or 95. It's not doing it, but it did put up a higher low here. This one could play out too, so I'm going to be watching these stocks. Other than that, this is going to play it very easy. Okay, 1048. It started doing that uptrend towards that 25. It even broke out of it just briefly, but it was just way too fast for me, and I didn't want to chase it. I had a thing here at 24.3. It's like as soon as I finished my thought, the thing started moving accordingly. So, you know, just missed it for that reason. But I didn't do it because it was just way too fast. I felt like it was a bit too much. And then once we got to 25, there was a lot of people on the ask. This could be the breather that, you know, the breather that it takes right now, and then it'll try again. It's just gonna continue to be a watch. It was a little too quick, the move it did there, but it could totally do it. If I missed this, I'll be fine because it was a bit too fast. But if it tries to maybe downtrend a little, catch its breath, and then try again, that might not be so bad. I've seen that happen before. Alright, it's 10:53 a.m. I just did a cheeky buy and sell. You know, was going to be very picky with the price action, and my idea was that it was going to at least hold this 242 level. So when it got to 241, that was my idea. As soon as we see 241 on the bid, I will get out immediately. I bought at 246 and the price was 1050. The time was 10:52. So it's a bit hard to see them. I might get rid of extended hours. Sure, why not? So the idea was that I bought at 10:52 right here in this candle at I got executed at 246, which wasn't really bad. It was at the top pretty much of this candle right here because it looked like it was gonna potentially do it. And the idea was, wait, was it really 10:50? Am I getting confused? No, yeah, I bought and sold the same minute. It was just different price action. So, yeah, 10:52, I bought at the top here, 246, just because at the time it didn't make this low at 241. So, my idea was that, alright, look. Actually, let me bring back a sentence. It just looks weird. So, the level is 25. That's the important level, okay? We tried here, failed. Downtrended, put up a higher low from this level, and then we got up here right at 25 just briefly. I was considering it. I didn't want to chase, but it did it here, and it was just a bit too quick. Didn't like it. I think whoever bought here with all this volume started selling his shares, and then he kind of kept half of his position, and then he dumped more. But I guess everybody else who bought this thing too, but you know, so we did this. So here's what I was thinking, because I've seen this happen where it fails and then it does like a mini little cup, if you could call it that, and then it just breaks past it. So for it to do something like that, I had to be really meticulous. So I bought again at, you know, 10:52, sold 10:52, because when I bought here at 10:52, it looked like, you know, the high, it opened here at, you know, 245. So the idea is that, okay, I don't want to see it touch 241 again, because if it does, it can break 241, go to 24 like when this recording just started, and do exactly what it's doing here. Now it's at 23, and now it looks very far away. It put up, sure, a double bottom here, but you know, I'm not trying to be here at 24 and sell at 23. Even though it doesn't sound like much, it's a lot more in terms of percentage. So the idea was that I bought at 246 because, again, it just opened at 245. So at the time, the candle looked very nice, right? It could continue to do the uptrend, and I thought as long as it holds above 241, it could be positive. Even if it gets to 242, that's still higher than this 241 level, and it can continue putting up like those mini higher lows in this section right here, and work towards a breakout. So when it didn't do that and it touched 241, I got out again to avoid something like this, which happens. So it was a very small loss here. It was almost 2%, but again, I'm trading small positions because this isn't the morning panic bounce setup that I've gotten a lot better in. This is something else. So I don't mind trading these small tiny positions just to learn from that. It could have worked out, but you know, it didn't. Had it have held above this 241 level and kept putting up higher lows and nicer price action, it could have done it, but it didn't. So I'll keep looking for more setups, but yeah, this one didn't work, and the other one TGRO isn't really doing anything that I really want. It is trying to put up a higher low, but it looks like the volume is fading, which isn't very good. And KYNC isn't doing that much either. It could try the breakout later, but that's the problem with this one too. It just doesn't have much volume, so it's just going to be a continued watch. No setups that I'm really too interested in, but I'll definitely keep looking. Alright, it is 11:17 a.m. so yeah, I'm just going to call it off from here. If I happen to trade something in the afternoon, I'll make an update then, or maybe I'll even go into tomorrow's video if that happens. So just to summarize, WTII missed out on this morning panic setup here. It worked out very nicely. I just was not in it because of the fact that, again, it was technically up maybe the second day or the third day if you want to count this. It wasn't, excuse me, it wasn't perfect, and it wasn't red on the day either. It was green on the day, but perhaps a stock that is still uptrending and not really after its third day, it might just be better to just trade these morning panic setups only if it stays green on the day, because then it shows that it still has more room to uptrend than the stock that is only up the second day, do a morning panic, it's red on the day, and you want to go for a bounce, but it keeps dropping because it's red and it's done. So I'll consider that. I'll make a small adjustment, and perhaps that might work even better. This was you know, the VWAP, you know, temporary breakdown. It worked out here. I was looking at this setup. It just wasn't really nice, the price action, but it did it. It was still nice in that sense. I guess inverse head and shoulders here, but a downtrending one. So I wanted to have traded that, and it failed. Broke the day low here at 45, not 41. Can't short these, but I will be interested in that. And Mr. RETC inverse head and shoulders, it worked out. You know, 62 to 73. You know, that's a 10% move. And it tried to break out later in the day. It didn't break. It did break a little. It just didn't have the you know, ability. I guess it failed one way or another. LTNC, nothing I want to trade. GVSI, nothing I want to trade either. GGII, again, that was a trade right here. I was just considering it for that breakout. Bought and sold this candle right here, I believe. It's at 1052. Oh, right here. And had I have not have, you know, followed with my plan, that would have sucked, you know, at 23. I'm really happy that even though these things were losses today, I'm down on the day like $6. Very happy because my losses here were very small, 0.78%, 1.63%. I've had that issue where my gains and my losses in terms of percentage are super close to each other. So this is a good thing that I'm just doing better cutting losses quickly, even though the first one kind of would have worked out if I waited a little longer. At the time it looked really bad. But I'll keep making adjustments in terms of that. I won't be looking at anything towards the rest of the day unless it does like GGII, if it just consolidates and then breaks out at like power hour or something. That would be nice. But other than that, I'm just going to call it off here. If there's a setup, and I'll make a video then. Otherwise, that's all I got for today. I think overall a pretty good day, trading day, just because my losses were not big in terms of percentage. It was very good in that sense. I need to get better at making my losses smaller than my gains. Alright, it is 4:01 p.m. The markets just closed the other minute, and I just wanted to just add one more part to this. I was looking at this actually, RETC, for a buy for some kind of a spike towards the end of the day, and that's exactly what happened, but I didn't buy it because it didn't do what I thought it would do. So where was it? I think it was around here. RETC was considering it for some kind of a buy, right? Because hey, you know, out of all of these, this one is up on its first day. It's up a crazy nice percentage. I think at this point right here it was like 180% up on the day. Very nice all day chart. continuously holding itself, putting up higher lows. Here was more of a double bottom, but we were seeing some kind of an uptrend, especially from here. Overall, just looking very nice, so I considered it for a buy here, but the problem is that it just started. I wonder if I still have it saved. I guess 77 was my limit, and it just started dropping and dropping, and I just didn't like it, right? Because I'm like, oh, okay, it's gonna fade maybe the rest of the day. Who knows? I stopped looking at it, and nice spike afterwards. I should have probably have considered that these things aren't really perfect. I was looking at this, you know, seeing the uptrend, but when I saw this downtrending, which doesn't look like much anymore, but it looked much bigger when this wasn't there. In fact, let me see if I can, if I have, here we go. Here's the trendy chart, right? The trendy chart that E-Trade keeps asking me to do. This is how I saw it. Does this include pre-market? You know, well, you know what I mean. It doesn't really have pre-market OTCs, but yeah, I was looking at it like right here. So 3 o'clock, give or take, right here. I was looking at it. I had a limit at 77. Wasn't looking bad, but once we started having this downtrending, still doesn't look like much. Let me zoom in some more. Yeah, I just saw it around here, right? And when it started to do this downtrending, it looked really bad at the time. Now it doesn't seem so bad, but it looked pretty ugly. But we had this nice spike, so the thing played out the way I thought. I just wasn't prepared for this little dip right here. I was prepared for it to hold its highs a bit better. It didn't do that, and then I stopped looking at it. But hey, very nice. I don't know if I would have just randomly considered a buy there. That would have been kind of random. But I guess here, once it broke the day high, I think, yeah, Tim Sykes bought this at 83, I think, for this type of setup. Probably wouldn't have held overnight, just because I think that's so sketchy. But this one played out very nicely. It got as high as 104 from that, you know, 72 level. That's a pretty impressive move. Totally missed out because of that, but I learned from it, and I was on the right track even though I didn't trade it. So I'm going to call it off. Just wanted to add this as well. Overall, a good trading day, mainly because I had 2 trades that didn't go the way I wanted. They were both losses, but they were tiny losses. I'm not having crazy, you know, not able to get out of my trade, big losses or something crazy like that. These were very small, controlled losses, and I'm going to continue trading small $500 positions, and if it's a setup I'm not that familiar with, I'll trade $300 positions. And if I can just prove myself that I can be consistently profitable with this position size, you know, and that nothing bad happens, Lord willingly, and I just keep working towards it, I don't see why I can't make it. So I'm going to call it off. Overall, a pretty good trading day, great lessons, thankful to God, and I'll just keep going at it.